Hello again. This is a video of the Massey Ferguson 1/16 880 8-furrow plow. This is optioned with the Onland Hitch and is a very large and heavy toy. I'm going to just scan across this plow as I just do some introductory comments for you. This is the prototype. There were 12 in this series made, and for those who have made plows or are familiar with hand making custom toys, you know how difficult a plow can be to make. Being the prototype, the fit and finish is pretty much set to go. I do have some final cleaning, so you do see some marks handwritten on the frame here and there, and that's just for myself when I'm planning these things out and resolving reverse engineering issues. This plow is fully working, and I'm going to break this video up into little segments because it's so big. I actually have to stop filming so I can turn this toy around. For those that bought this toy from me, this is also give you an idea on how your toy will work and how to handle it, because it's quite large. As you could tell, most of this toy was made of copper, and largely because the beams that are used in it were the only ones that were available that were the proper size and were not brass but copper. Normally I would prefer brass, but that just wasn't the case. I think I pretty much have a good overview of this side of the plow. I'm just going to go into some of the detail here on how this all looks and works. Of course, it'll be painted Massey Ferguson red using genuine Agco paint, deckled and reassembled, including the hydraulic hoses that you see on my other toys. I'll just stop the this video segment here, turn the plow around, and get into some detail of how the furrows and coulters work. All right, on this side of the plow, you have a better view of all 8 furrows and another of the rear design of this particular plow. This plow came in 3 options when it came to the furrows themselves. It came with a hydraulic trip, a spring trip, and a standard what they call the standard trip, which is a shear bolt. This is the standard trip design, and the coulters are a standard non-spring design as well. Now I just flipped this toy around so the coulters moved around on me, which I will talk about in greater detail in a few minutes. But I just want to go through the plow from this side of the toy and give you an idea what it looks like here. Now, I'm going to just stop here for one more second and put my camera on a tripod and show you how the furrow mechanism works on this plow, because this plow completely works. And I just want to illustrate for those that purchased it how it operates for them. This is the prototype of the prototype furrow mechanism. A lot of copper was used, and hopefully I'm kind of working backwards here off my camera, so I'm not going too fast, and it's close enough for you to see. There's a lot of detail in this particular assembly. There are 58 individual parts here. That includes spacers. You see underneath here even the dust cover, and again, is fully working. I do have a couple of nuts that bolts I did not put the nuts in, so I can easily demonstrate how this works. This particular case here, you can see it's facing the same way as the plow in the background. The way this plow worked was if you hit something hard, this bottom pin here is your shear pin. I'll just take that out. You'll see a hole in here now, right there. And as it would trip, it would come up, it would snap up like so. So you can see that mechanism in action. I'll do it again, is as you would hit something very difficult, this pin would snap up like so. Of course, you would go down, you would get out, you would push it down to reset, and you would simply put another shear pin back in that hole. And with this up in the up position, I don't know if you can, hopefully you can see inside here, I developed a special template to sculpt this copper edges here to duplicate exactly how the Massey Ferguson 880 mechanism assembly worked and appeared. So again, you put this down, and then you would take your pin, you would put it back in this hole, and away you'd go. Now, for those who have bought this toy, if you want, for some reason, to demonstrate one or more of these in the upright position, simply remove the bottom pin on, because they all have it on here, of course, and lift it up. When you do so, this will be painted, so you may be damaging some of the paint. Just go to your AGCO dealer and get the Massey Ferguson standard red, and you'll be just fine. Another adjustable feature of this particular plow, I'll just close it like so, of this toy, I should say, which duplicates the plows. I'll just pull this pin off the bottom here, and this bottom coupler was also adjustable, and I threaded inside this square tube, and you can move it out, and you'll see some of the plows that were a bit more threading than, say, others. They were adjusted for different reasons. Maybe just in the manufacturing, it wasn't quite level. But you can adjust that as you set it back down, and you bolt it back in again, like so. Actually, this needs to be a bit tighter on this particular model, right there. And then you go in, and you put your pin back in. And I know it's pretty hard to see here. You should do it from this side. I'll just do it one more time here for you. It comes up like so, and then you adjust that coupler, and you put your bolt back in again, and then you're off to the races, so to speak. So that's what this looks like. And again, perhaps I should have showing you this side. But again, if you want the upright position, just simply take that bottom. That's number 80, by the way, out, and then it comes right up, as with the real one. Over here is a fully functioning coulter. Now, when you deal with 1/16 toys, one of the issues is that to put the limiter, I call the limiter bolt on here, to limit the sway of your coulter, is just about impossible, because you're dealing with such fine detail, and it just doesn't work. I could have soldered this on straight, and no one would be none the wiser, and so it was static in one position, or I would just leave it loose so you can adjust as you see fit. I've left it loose. It flows with this toy that completely works, and decided to do it that way. You can put a drop of Gorilla Glue or Crazy Glue in there if you're getting tired of adjusting, but that's what was done with this. And I can't know if you can even tell. There's machining that was even done for this toy. This clamp system up in here is aluminum that was taken through a mini mill to put that groove inside so it would hold the coulter arm completely. So with these two pieces explained, I will now again stop the video here and show you how this toy steers. To best demonstrate how the toy steers, I'm going to start from the front, or rather the back of the toy, and work my way to the front. And it's just that it's such a large toy. It almost is about 2.5 feet long. I'll just capture what it can do in sections to demonstrate how it completely works. First of all, the rear wheel, I'll just use my hand here, is adjustable. It floats up and down, including this stop pin underneath here. So that's with the plow in the lower position. I'm just going to lift the plow up from behind. You can just see how it also, of course, goes down, and how the rear cylinder works. Now I'm going to reach all the way up to the front of the toy. Hopefully I don't know if I can do it. My arm is quite long enough. And I'm going to just go like so. And you can see now how I go left or right, how that steering arm moves that back. wheel. Speaking of the back wheel, when you get your plow, I'll be setting this wheel at the height that you see right here, this secondary one right here. It's simply a pin. I pull the pin out. Of course, I can't do that when you want it to. There we go. Let's put the pin on the floor, on the table for a second. It's completely adjustable, different heights. I'll just adjust it to this particular height here, which seems to be about the most common one. And I'll simply, let's take it off here just to show you. It looks like in behind here as well. And I'll just put it back when I move to the next segment. So that shows how the back end of this plow works. You will see from behind here as well, the main hydraulic line that feeds hydraulic pressure to this rear cylinder. So that's set up and ready to go. I'll now just simply, while I'm actually at this angle, I'm going to steer the hitch again over like so you can see what's kind of happening and how the toy steers and these pivot points. So I'm just showing you how that works here. I'm just going to keep moving it back and forth. Like so. It's probably the easiest way for me to do this at the moment before I show you the front features of this toy. Okay, I'll stop there and move the toy around and show you other angles. We've now moved up to the Onland hitch system. It's a very complicated system. You take a good look here alongside the frame of what's happening and how that works. Now, of course, it's not hooked to any steering linkage or arm here. It's simply up-down movement. So I'm going to lift the plow, and you'll see how that goes up, down. And I'm going to explain a couple things here for you too. The best way to lift this plow is in this neck, is right around here, right around this pivot point, by putting your finger underneath, and just keep an eye on the wheel and on the piston, and you can see it go up and down. Now, when you get this plow, those that bought it again, this wheel will be wired in a solid position using some string, only because when you take it out, I couldn't put a limiter tab on here like I have to with some toys, because remember, we're duplicating hydraulic pressure, which is essentially your hand and not real hydraulics. And you don't want this ram to pop out of the cylinder. So when you lift up your toy, even when it's out of the box, the other way to grab it is from underneath this way here, like so, just to keep this wheel up. I'm now lifting the entire toy up, as you can see. No issues on the back or the front, but the Onland wheel is made in such a way that I could not put a limiter like I did on my New Holland. But I've detailed that in an email to those that purchased the toy, so I have a better context and idea what I'm talking about. But one of the things here that when you do display this particular toy, and again in the email I sent to those that purchased it, is you please be mindful to keep this jack in the down position. It's a plow, being a plow, has a tendency to tip to one side when they're parked. This is no different. And to avoid any damage to the toy or any display surface, because this is a large toy, I strongly recommend that you keep that jack down, even when it's hooked up to a toy tractor, which I'll get into here at the very end. So that gets the back done. And the Onland hitch. I'm going to spin this toy around one more time. I'll stop the camera and we'll look at the front wheel mechanism. The final moving mechanism on this plow is the front wheel assembly. I will just turn it here so you can see how it actually turns in real life, as it would in real life rather. And when you lift it up or down, as you're going in and out of a furrow, you can see this action in play. And I'll just lift the toy up so you can see it go in the opposite direction. Of course, it needs a bit of hand. Again, no hydraulic pressure, so at times your finger has to be the hydraulics, and turns it around. When I paint this toy, I will not, at this stage of the game, paint. I'll take that chain off, because you get paint on it, it'll bind and it'll slow the action down. But other than that, it's a fairly interesting type concept. If I would just kind of go over here, you can see how, so from this angle, how the hitch moves and keeps the entire toy movable, I guess you could say. One thing about the front end of this, we'll see how the painting goes, which is going to be a whole other story. In the real, if you go online and look at a real 880, this axle, if you want to call it that, I'll lift it up and down a bit. It floats a lot, and there's one or more grease zerks inside this outer tube. This is actually quite flexible because it has to be able to move and twist without much resistance, and a lot of grease is used in there. So even though it's a red painted toy, it's kind of a dirty area, and we'll see how that looks when the painting is done. I'll do my best for touch-ups. But yeah, that's how that one in particular works. I do want to get into the hitch real quickly, but I will give you one more look at this toy from this aspect right here. And maybe I can try doing a demonstration overall. There we go. Moving the hitch and seeing the entire assembly work, knowing the coulters move and twist around, as well as the furrows, the shear pin system, and the adjustable clevis on the bottom also works. I'll just stop here for one more clip. One aspect of this toy that I had to use a little bit of creative control is the hitch. The changeable hitch system is a little bit longer than would normally be seen on the real toy. I did it for a reason, because those who buy these toys sometimes like to hook them to the favorite tractors. And if you have a newer tractor made out of Asia in the last 20 years, like this Precision Key 5488 International, you see a lot of some very fine detail. And I'm just going to hook that up there like so. So that usually works pretty good in terms of how the toy hooks to the back of these more modern toys that have a nice refined and more accurate hitch system. Before I go to the stagger beside to my right here, for those that do buy this toy and they wish to hook it up and do a complete, including the hydraulic hoses, I do this on this. This is my test toy, this 5488. You'll notice here where the hydraulic couplers are. You just use a 1/16 drill bit, and you just drill into where the hydraulic couplers would be on the toy, and you can plug in your hosing, your hydraulic hosing into that. I'll put that toy aside for 1 second. Where this gets a little more problematic are on, I would call the less refined toys, let's just say. I'll now flip this around like so. Especially these bigger articulates that have come out the last few years, their hitches are a thicker type plastic, maybe not as refined, to use polite terminology. And they're either plastic, and some of the older ones are sand cast. And so I had to make it long enough so that this hitch would fit underneath here and still be hooked up and still look great. If you wanted to demonstrate, I'll back out what that plow looks like behind an articulate tractor. That's probably pretty close to the horsepower in some parts of North America. And when I do hook this up, by the way, to this particular tractor, I took a measuring tape. It's 4 feet long from the very back to the very front end of this tractor. So the only thing that, like I say, that I just is a little bit out of scale on purpose is so that these can be hooked up to different generation of toy tractors, depending where they were made and how they were made. And so as opposed to having this plow in your display just sitting by itself, it can be hooked up to something of a different era and a different horsepower type size. That's all I have for now on this plow. I hope you enjoyed the video. I find plows to be extremely difficult to build. It's trying to pull things in a straight line, but always playing with 15, 30, or 60-degree angles. And maybe perhaps that's why they're much harder to find in the custom toy world. And there's exactly 801 parts in this toy. So it gives you an idea of the size and scale of this thing. There is one chase unit in the series of 12. It is a 6 furrow 2-point. And there's a special edition. One of the folks that bought this toy, his father used it on their farm and simply wanted the 8 furrow without the Onland hitch. And other than that, all will be of this particular, or this exact design that you see before you, which is the prototype. Hope you enjoyed this video. I must say this was a very challenging, difficult project, and at times not very pleasant, as plows are very difficult to build.
Anyhow, any questions, please feel free to post them on my YouTube channel, and I'll get back to you with any answers that I can provide. Thank you very much.